Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Jerome. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Today we're going to be checking out Daniel Caesar's new album, Never Enough. A quick backstory of me and Daniel Caesar. I'll be honest, I wasn't one of the first people who found Daniel Caesar out. I really didn't know about him until Case Study 01, and I fell in love with that album. It caused me to go back, look at his previous works. Some of my favorites, I mean, you got the Streetcar, the Kanye West cover that he did. I'd argue that might be better than the original, which is rarely ever the case. We Find Love, Best Part, and then obviously Case Study 01. I love the whole album. Jeez, Cyanide. I mean, all those tracks. I just blew my mind. I love this dude. I think probably 2020 is when I found him, and ever since then, he's been in my top artists, top songs. Needless to say, I'm super excited to check out this album. But yeah, dude, aside from that, I don't have much else to say, so let's get into it. Throughout the video, if you enjoy what I have to say, or if you're just enjoying the vibes, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, all that stuff really helps out the channel a bunch, and, you know, lets me know that you guys are appreciating it. It just means a lot, so appreciate if you do that. Otherwise, let's get into it. The first track we got is Ocho Rios, which I believe is Spanish for 8 rivers. I could be wrong. I'm not fluent in Spanish or anything. But yeah, let's get into it. Fair warning, I have heard a number of these songs. I know I did the sin of all music reviewing YouTubers. I listened to some of the songs off camera. I couldn't do it. I was too busy to record. I just had to listen to them. I'm sorry, but I'll let you know when we get to those. Let's get it. Beautiful intro. Damn! Well, before this beat drops, I just gotta say the production is mwah. I don't know what it is. Case Study 01 was the same way. And as I became a fan of Daniel Caesar and I looked back to his previous albums, the production's always good, but it wasn't to the level of Case Study 01, and obviously starting out with this production is unbelievable. This sound is so versatile to me. Like, I can listen to this doing chores, cooking, working. Like, this sort of music is so digestible to me. Needless to say, his voice is on point and sounding good so far, so let's keep it rolling. Damn! Yeah. Alright, that was Ocho Rios. That shit was fire. Production really stands out to me on that one. Lyrics wise, I didn't really catch everything there. But I was kind of taken back by the production of that one. Definitely good intro track. Really sets a tone of what we're probably going to hear the rest of the way out. And lyric wise, I kind of set it aside because I have listened to some of these other tracks, like I said before. And, you know, I have some things to say about those. And some of those are pretty lyrically dense. But yeah, sounds beautiful. I'm just so hyped, man. It's been a long time since we had Daniel Caesar album, right? I mean, when was Case Study 01? 2019, I think? Let me confirm that. Yeah, the end of June of 2019 was the last album we got from Daniel Caesar. So, I mean, hey, man, that's almost 4 years. It's a long-ass time. That's like Kendrick level right there. Artists, it's love and hate, because artists like the big name ones like Kendrick, Daniel Caesar, you know, all of my favorite artists, I wish they'd oversaturate it, because I'd listen to all of it. I'm already a diehard fan. But in general, would you be such a fan if their catalog was oversaturated? Probably not. I mean, part of the enjoyment of it is that they work so hard to make so many songs, and they only release a certain number of them. And it's rare, but you get the best of the best, and, you know, if you hear them all the time, probably get tired of it. So what can you say? Love it and hate it. What I can say is the next track is called Valentina. I know this one was a single, but I didn't hear this one, so this will be my first reaction. It's probably gonna be more voice-centered than beat-centered, it feels like. Definitely step back, ease up on the gas pedal a little bit. Ooh. Never mind. Quick shout out to Miami, another reactor in the community, obviously way huger than I am. If you're watching this, you probably heard of him. But what he always recommends songs that would sound good slowed down. I bet this would be one of those, like, slowed and screwed songs. Like, I bet this would slap slowed down. So I was thinking, like, is this a baby making song? And I thought it might be a little bit too high tempo. Don't get it twisted. I'm liking the song so far. The beat kind of came in on me. I wasn't ready for it. At the start of the track, I was like, oh, this is gonna be more of a mellow one, but it really came in and hit.
I know that you want me to, boy, it's cool. I understand. I expect it.
Before we get back in the chorus, I do want to note it'll be interesting to see if there's like a concept to this album at all. Didn't really catch much of the lyrics in the first one, but this one is kind of wanting a girl that is already in a relationship, that is unavailable to him. It'd be interesting knowing Daniel Caesar, knowing a lot of these songs are going to be kind of about relationships, about love. It'd be interesting to see if there's any sort of flow with it at all. But obviously, people can relate to this, wanting someone that, is already in a relationship. So I'm sure there's plenty of people who can relate to it and will enjoy this song. It just sounds great, man. The voice is amazing. Alright, that was Valentina. Really beautiful sounding track. I enjoy the instrumentation, but I more so enjoy the voice in this one. I kind of mentioned that in the beginning, it might be one more with the voice. It wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but his vocals were, I think, more present in this track. I also enjoyed the difference between the verse and the chorus. How in the verse, he kind of like accepts how it's her choice and she's already in a relationship. But in the chorus, he's like, I knew you were going to be mine. Just give me one chance. I'll prove it to you. It's kind of like more desperate versus more logical. All in all, yeah, great track. Really enjoyed it. It took, let me tell you, it took a lot of willpower not to listen to it before the video. I listened to all the other singles, but this one, it was only like a week before this release date, so I stayed strong for y'all. Yeah, great track. Anyways, we'll move on to the next one. It's called Toronto 2014.
If only I could find a pair of glasses.
Oh, man.
To help me see the ones who truly
Oh, pause that. Couple things. Sounds great. He really meshes well with this instrumentation. I haven't heard of Mustafa before. Apologize if I'm saying that wrong, but sounds great. Most impressive, though, are the lyrics here. How relatable is this? Let me just read them back real quick. Sometimes it feels like it's a trick. Everything is not as it seems. If I could find a pair of glasses to help me see the ones who truly be. You can really look at those lyrics in a couple different ways. I think you can look at it through the lens of like fake friends and how, you wish you had this thermal vision to tell who's real and who's fake. But also just more general in life itself. I mean, you go through all these difficulties, these struggles, and it's hard to discern between the right decision and the wrong decision sometimes. Sometimes it's easy, but other times it's clouded. And just wishing there was an easy way to make those decisions is something everyone is challenged with. It's really easy to say that you're always going to try to do right, but sometimes right and wrong, that it's a fine line, one that's hard to see. I'm really enjoying those lyrics. I'm getting too deep. Let's keep it going.
stuck in the matrix, living a lie. I'm not afraid to die.
Ooh, man. How about that chorus, though? This track is much more introspective than what I'm used to. I mean, the songs of his that have the most streams are definitely the more mainstream ones, primarily about relationships. I know he's had tracks in the past that aren't always like that, and this is one of those. I don't think this track is going to be very popular, but I do think it's one where he's saying a lot, and he's getting his thoughts out there. I also like the second verse where he's talking about he wishes back 2014 Just kind of reminiscing in that time. Man, I always try to think when my favorite time has been so far. A lot of people say they hate middle school, but middle school for me was one of my favorites, man. It was magnificent. I just hardly had any homework. I was in 2 basketball leagues. So I would do school, be done with school, play basketball for my middle school, and then play basketball for like the district that I was in. And let me tell you, it was just like 3-4 hours of basketball a night. That was like peak. A lot of people hate the middle school time, but in terms of just having a good time, I loved that time period. More recently, 2016 was a pretty good year. Summer 2016 had some phenomenal music. I was still in high school hanging with all the guys. Man, let me tell you, if you're in high school right now, or whatever school or whatever situation you're in, but particularly if you're in high school and you have a close group of friends, it sucks growing up. People go off to college, they go do their own thing, find a girl. Man, you just get to spend a lot less time with them. People that grown close to for, numerous years. For me, some of my closest friends I've known for, probably like 18 years now. And I still consider myself a relatively young guy. It's just, knowing them for most of my life. And, that part sucks. But anyways, I got way off topic here. It was a good track. I liked it. Introspective. I don't think it's going to be as popular as some of the other ones. But still, good one. We're going to keep it rolling. Next track we got is Let Me Go. I have heard this numerous times. Like I said, I caved. I was originally doing pretty good. But then one of the singles, just happened to go on like the radio that Spotify does when you finish a playlist. Like they play recommended songs, And of course, this song came on, Let Me Go. And then right after is Please Don't Lean. Please Do Not Lean. Which actually is not in the album. I really wish that track found a home on one of his albums. Really great track. But anyways, have heard Let Me Go. Love the track. We'll vibe to it a little bit, but I have heard it before. So let's get into it. Our sun is setting is such a good metaphor. Oh, man. Man, just so many things you could say about this. I got like 3 things I want to mention. First off, I like this. This is a lot more mainstream. This is going to get way more streams than Toronto 2014, I'd be willing to bet. We got much more traditional production, sounds better, more exuberant vocals on this. Secondly, I'm still trying to track kind of the flow of the album. So this one, it's almost as if he got the girl or is in the relationship that he desires, but now he wants to leave and sort of get out of it. Interesting progression. I don't know if there is really any correlation, but I'm trying to somewhat map it. Finally, kind of piggybacking off the second point, the lyrics on this, woo, relatable. Let me tell you, if you've been in that scenario where you're kind of striving for a girl that's in a relationship or whatever partner is in a relationship, Valentina's probably gonna hit. If you ever tried to get over someone, this song is gonna hit. Ooh! I'm not leading you on, I'm leaving you behind? Oh man, that's a clever line right there. I like that. This is the bread and butter though. These fucking vocals are crazy. Alright. That is Let Me Go. And that track, I really feel like that's going to be the one that kind of represents the album as a whole. I mean, looking at even the cover art, I'll throw it up here somewhere. It almost looks like he's trying to run away from something. And I think this song kind of plays into that. But yeah, I mean, I think most of us can relate to or eventually going to relate to this sort of track. A healthy relationship, their first go around. In some way, in some sort of fashion, there's struggle involved. And you find some sort of pain before you find the solace of the person you're supposed to be with. That's where R&B, I feel like, really kicks in. I mean, there's a lot of artists. You know, you got Giveon, Lucky Day, Daniel Caesar. You know, the list goes on and on and on. Phenomenal artists, but they really base their careers on the same sort of premise, and that's because this is so relatable. Great track. Strongest part to me is the chorus on that. Starts to get his voice higher pitched. When he does that, he's done this in previous albums too. It's really one of the staples, I'd say, is where he's singing and then he can hit this higher note. And you know, it's one of those things where I'm sure this has happened to someone else as well. But when you're trying to like somewhat sing in the car to go with it, and it always sounds good in your head, and then you get a call or something, and the music stops, the volume gets turned down, and you hear what the fuck you sound like trying to hit those high notes. Oh my god! If a video of me ever trying to hit Daniel Caesar high notes gets released, I'm retiring from the internet. Anyways, man, I'll move on to the next one. This is Do You Like Me? Of the singles I heard, this is actually my least favorite. We'll play through it, but I didn't think this track was super crazy.
Do you really like me? Do you really like me? Yeah, we're still young.
Yeah, not my favorite song so far. Sounds alright. I just wanted to note, as for like the progression of the album, I don't really think that there's anything chronologically going on here. I mean, it started as striving to be some person's partner, to trying to let go, and now we're to this questioning if this person even likes him. So I think we're just got a collection of songs. I don't think that it's a concept album per se, but I could be wrong. It's still early. Either way, still enjoying this album. Good sounding track, just wasn't my favorite. So let's move on. We'll go to the next track. This one's called Always.
Baby, baby,
Oh man.
there will always be space for you and me, right where you left it.
Man, I like this.
And I don't care if you're with somebody else. I'll give you time and space. I'm always
Wow.
waiting.
Hold up. Wow, I love this track. I'm kind of on a pattern right now with this album where there's a track I like a ton, then one that's like, I don't dislike it, but it's like, it's alright.
I mean, it's all right.
You know the meme, it's alright. But then it's going back and forth. Tracks I love, and then it's alright. Love, it's alright. Love this one. This one is giving me friend zone vibes, you know, lovers that now have to be friends or something around those lines, and how you navigate that, and saying that will always be there in some sort of capacity. He doesn't even specify exactly how, and I think that's interesting. I think that's on purpose. But you know, all that aside, you know, a lot of meat and potatoes in this track. Sonics on this just slowed it down. This one's a lot calmer. It's really more pleasant to me, and wow, I just wasn't ready for it. So let's keep it rolling.
I still remember the fuss and the fight and the fucking the line.
Oh man, you hearing this shit? This is fire.
And I'll be here, 'cause we both know how it goes.
This is almost giving me like a rock vibe. Wow, what a beautiful track. Towards the end there, it was giving me like a rock music kind of vibe almost. But yeah, man, really powerful track. Lyrically, something that, you know, really spoke out to me. And I think a lot of people are gonna find relatability in this. Is it gonna stream like Let Me Go? I don't think so. But needless to say, I think this track is really powerful. I think it's one of the best sounding ones on the album so far. And certainly up there is one of my favorites. We'll keep it going though. Next track is Cool. How do you follow that up though? How do you follow Almost Always up? Like, Dang, I don't know.
I get too excited, start spitting on my eyes.
The flow.
Play it cool.
Oh, man. I really enjoyed that track. He broke the pattern I was talking about in the previous track. It's hard to follow up on Always. I think Always is going to end up being one of my favorite tracks of the year. And this one I also enjoyed. I think it follows in the same sort of steps as Always. It flows well. It has a similar kind of vibe. I really enjoy the parts where he goes sometimes and he has like a little flow to it. I will say that I think he could benefit from some more features. And I see the track list. I see we are going to get some more features. More specifically, some features maybe in like the hip-hop side. And this is me talking. I love hip-hop. I love rap. So I'm biased in that way. One of Daniel Caesar's strongest strengths is his ability to make a chorus that just sounds fucking incredible. Not to say that his verses are weak or anything. I mean, these tracks that we've been getting are phenomenal. But I think if you could pair, some introspective rappers, I mean, of course, I'm a huge J. Cole fan, but J. Cole comes to mind. Tracks with that, I think would add like a different kind of dimension than what we're getting. And this is probably a bad time to bring this up because I did like that track as well. But it was just a thought that came in my head. Anyways, let's keep it rolling. I'm starting to get tired here, so let's keep it rolling. Next track we got is Disillusioned, and this does have a feature, Serpent with Feet, who I never heard of before.
I'm scared of getting older. It weighs upon my shoulders.
I believe this is a feature. Sounds pretty good. Alright, that is Disillusion. That was pretty mid in my eyes. Lyrics just weren't hitting for me. I actually didn't like the production on that one. It felt kind of repetitive. After a while, I was like, I just kind of want this one to be over already. Which isn't the case for many of the other tracks. It is what it is. It's hard to make a perfect album. And I'm sure other people probably really enjoy this one. Just wasn't for me. Next track, we got those Buyer's Remorse. I'm excited for this one. Omar Apollo is featuring. Listened to his most recent album off camera, and I really enjoyed it. So, not a mega fan, but I have heard some of his stuff, and I think he's a pretty skilled artist. So anyways, Buyer's Remorse. Let's get it.
I know you think you got me wrapped around your fingers.
Ooh.
A life lingers.
Ooh, a lot of the lyrics so far are how things aren't always as they seem. One lyric that impressed me is, I guess we look good on paper. Thoughts run through my head. Just the idea of just because something, written down on paper looks good doesn't mean, something theoretically is good does not mean it's actually gonna be good. So pretty interesting lyrics so far. I'll be interested to see how this goes sonically and how Omar plays part.
I know you think you
Oh
got
man,
me wrapped around your fingers.
this track is growing on me quite a bit here. As we've heard this part more, it kind of feels like "Don't take me for granted" is the message here. Just the I know my girl is like, oh, I got you on my finger all the time. And I'm just like, hey, don't take me for granted, though. I think it's important to also realize the value that you bring to a relationship. And it's awesome being madly in love. But it is also awesome to be appreciated on both sides. And I think that's kind of what this song is speaking on. It sonically sounds great. Definitely am enjoying this after kind of a weaker previous track. Vast majority of these, I'd probably say 70% of these tracks I'm really digging. So I'm excited. Let's keep it rolling. Next track we got is Shot My Baby.
Singing, I shot my baby down that day.
Ooh, this production really picked up. Before we continue, I really like that switch up in the production there. Brought some more life out of the track. Also interesting lyrics kind of going on here about his partner cheating on him and kind of the reaction to that. Lyrically, I don't know if this track is hitting quite as hard as some of the others for me, but production, it sounds really good here, so we'll keep it rolling. Oh man!
What did I see? His arms are wrapped around it like it's been about it. I couldn't believe.
All right, that was "Shot My Baby." Very interesting track. Thankfully, not one I can relate to very much. Thank you, my girl, for not cheating on me. But I could see how maybe this one some people could find pretty relatable. I'd assume, you know, if you get cheated on or if you walked in on it or something like that, you know, I can only imagine what kind of feelings would be running through your veins. Wouldn't be good ones. One interesting thing to note, and I always try to keep in mind, is try to see if there's any meaning behind like the album covers too. One interesting thought is, I know I said earlier how it seems like in the album cover he's trying to like run away or escape. From this track's perspective, he's running towards, you know, like his girl and the partner that she's cheating on him with. You know, the idea of shooting my girl, like you know, he's going towards them in anger. So it's less on this track of running away and more of running towards them. So just a cool little thought. Obviously, I try to look for deeper meaning. Sometimes they're not always there, but I think that one is pretty cool. Next track, "Pain is Inevitable." Oh, don't pull out the strings now. Oh man, is this gonna be one that gets me in the feels?
Who runs the show? Who hands out the suspensions? I need pain is inevitable. Misery is a choice.
Ooh, I really like that line. Pain is inevitable, but misery is a choice. You know, we're gonna go through things that are painful, inevitably, physically, mentally, emotionally. However, letting these things ruin your life is your choice. You know, how you respond to pain is your response. It's not, you know, forced upon you how you're going to react to these things. And obviously, some people are dealt worse hands than others. Some people are dealt better hands than others. But regardless, how you react is going to determine where you're going to go. You know, and that whole stream of thought is really kind of put in to those 6 words. I think that's incredible. Wow. Pain is inevitable. Misery is a choice. Really good stuff.
I must turn a profit. Something to prove. I'm a god, I'm a prophet.
The wordplay on profit. Ooh. What if tonight Lucifer comes for you? So, what if, you know, the devil comes for you, turns out your lights. When your lights are turned off, are you going to be alone? Alone for life? Do you have God on your side? Do you believe in God? Because ultimately, when all the lights are turned off and it's just you and Lucifer there, is God on your side, or have you buried yourself away from him? Have you forced yourself to be alone in that situation? Something to think about for sure.
I used to be a child. I just want to be a child again.
Oh man. It's true though. Children are the ultimate innocence. And it's crazy how far we get pulled and tainted. But it's also a challenge, and it's one to look forward to in a way. Are you going to allow yourself to get pulled in different directions, to get pulled towards darkness, get pulled away from what you're supposed to be doing? Or are you going to fight? Are you going to believe? Are you going to find a way to stay in the light? Really introspective song, one I truly enjoyed. Pain is inevitable, Definitely one that's not going to get many streams, I feel like, but one that makes you think, one that's very introspective, one that's certainly religious, and because of those factors, it's not going to get a ton of streams. But I'm glad he included it on the album. It's one that certainly made me think, and hopefully it did the same for you. Next track is Homiesexual, and this is featuring Ty Dolla $ign. Gonna be interesting to see how they mesh. We got two big hitters here for sure.
Heard you found someone else
Ooh.
to sleep next to you. Homosexual, but girl, I ain't judging.
So far, chorus has been the strongest part of this track. Sounding good, but I'm excited to hear Ty Dolla $ign.
Heard you found someone else.
Ooh.
Find yourself sitting in my hotel, just scrolling, and I noticed that your page on private. Why you hide yourself? Why, my girl? I never meant to make you cry, my girl.
Alright, that is Homiesexual. Decent track. I like the sonics on it. I think the chorus was the strongest part of that track. Ty Dolla $ign's verse was alright. It wasn't bad. It sounded good, but it didn't blow me away. Lyrically, it was alright. Wasn't the strongest, I think, on here. Also wasn't the most relatable for me either. So we'll just let it slide. We'll go to the next one. Next track we got, we're at to the last 3 tracks, actually. This one's gonna be called Vince Van Gogh.
And when it comes down to it, separates me from phonies. Sometimes it's lonely.
Oh man, let's give him his roses right now. Daniel Caesar, you are dope. All right. I'm certainly happy I'm not to the point where, you know, I have to deal with a whole bunch of haters. I've had a couple hate comments, nothing crazy, but I can't imagine being a celebrity or a major artist where everyone is constantly putting thoughts on your work like I'm doing right now, but being judged so harshly by people who don't truly know who you are. That's kind of where I'm getting at from what he's saying so far in this track, and it's certainly understandable. I mean, this whole channel is built on relating to and building upon other people's music, other people's artistry, which is really their culmination of experiences and talent. To overly hate on anyone's outlet or anyone's music, I think, is quite foolish. It's absolutely fine to have an opinion, and you know, that's why I'm able to make these videos, and I'm able to say like, hey, I don't really like this track, but I think to do so out of blatantly disrespectful way, it is truly wrong, and you know, it affects people. Like I was just saying at the beginning, how, you know, when you guys leave comments and you know, like the video and all that stuff, how it makes me feel, and how I appreciate that. I can't even imagine doing something so personal, like creating a song and just letting it be out there and accepting the response. So certainly understandable, and yeah, we love you, Daniel Caesar. You're extremely talented. Keep it up. So we'll roll to the next track. This one's gonna be Superpowers.
All God's children are special, but not like you. It's crazy to say this, but you're the greatest.
I do like the progression of the previous track where he's kind of talking about hate and self-image, and then go on to this one, and it's kind of like the opposite, perceiving yourself in a kind of light. And I like that contradiction, and the placement of these 2 tracks really kind of makes sense. Alright, that was Superpowers. Pretty good track, wasn't too crazy. Kind of tied into the previous one. It was alright, not too bad. We were down to the last track though, which I'm pretty sad about. But we had a decent length album, about an hour long. This track is called Unstoppable. I do see that it was released as a single, I think 2 days ago. I obviously haven't heard it. So we'll go ahead and give it a listen now. This will be the conclusion of the album. I'm excited. It's been a pretty good one so far. I'll leave my thoughts for the overall album to the end here after this track. But so far, so good.
When I wake up in the morning, all me want to see is you. Titties poking out your
Yeah.
and you wet like morning dew.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
We done seen tough times together, more to go with power true. Now who's gonna stop us? We're unstoppable.
This is like a couple hype song right here. I like it. It's unique. That was Unstoppable, and that was Never Enough. Wow, that was a good album. I like that album. It was an interesting way to end it. It's kind of an uplifting ending. It reminds me a lot of how Brent Faiyaz ended his last one with Angel. How that one was kind of uplifting. This was the same way, where, you know, he's saying that we're unstoppable, I'm unstoppable. I didn't really pick up on much concept album-wise, if everything really fit in together. Obviously, the good bulk of this is about relationships, and, you know, where they don't work all the way, and, you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, the title, Never Enough, never being enough in order to get the girl, in order to prevent the girl from cheating on you, as we saw in the track Shot My Baby. And just maybe the last track, Never Enough, isn't in a negative context, but might be in a good context, where it's like, you and me together, it's never enough. We always need more time together, you know, we're unstoppable together. I think that's probably my best guess, at least through the first listen. But overall, very solid album. Some of my favorite tracks. Ocho Rios is going to be on there for the strong production. I think it's a very strong opener. Let Me Go. I've listened to this track quite a bit already. It's already one of my favorites. I think that one, people are going to be able to relate to that. I think sonically it sounds amazing. Perhaps my favorite track, at least off first listen. Again, these favorites could change over time. Probably my favorite track is Always. That one just had a different kind of feel, and at least for me, I could relate to it. So really enjoyed those three at least. There are a couple others in here that I liked quite a bit as well. But for now, I'll say that's my top three. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, this is a really strong showing from Daniel Caesar. An album that's going to get a lot of run from me this year, for sure. I'm really interested to see what other people are going to think about this, other reactors, you guys. As always, I really encourage you to leave a comment. It's probably the most important thing to me. I mean, I really like when you like and subscribe. That stuff helps the channel a lot. But when you comment, I love talking with you guys and just hearing your thoughts about stuff too. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this album. Let me know if you liked any of the thoughts I had, or any of the sort of theories about the album as a whole. If you agree with anything, drop a comment and let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed the album as much as I did, and I hope you have a blessed day. Peace now.